The person you've been messaging with is a man named Christian.
Just a scammer, scamming people. That's the end of it.
There is someone behind these messages that I have a deep connection with. And I do think that it could be a big misunderstanding. Maybe Carmela is real, and maybe, what the producer was told wasn't true.
Denial is a river in Egypt!
Awesome!
Before the 90 Days has a way of tricking us with some of the introductions of new cast members. Like Mike, for instance. He at first seemed like such a nice guy, but we ended up finding out that he was trying to financially trap a cam girl into marrying him. And once he figured out that no amount of money would keep her around, he ran away.
She's a runner, she's a track star. She gon' run away when it gets...
Because of TLC's trickery, I now automatically put my guard up when we meet someone new on the show. So when we first met Tyray, I hesitated to assume that he was really a nice guy.
I'm not a musician, but I did pick up the ukulele because I noticed that everyone who plays it looks happy.
But it was hard too, because throughout his introduction, he does truly seem like a nice guy just looking for love. Tyray is 33 years old and lives with his mom. She has had life-threatening health problems and a stroke, and even though he has siblings, it looks like Tyray has taken most of the responsibility of helping his mom. He even quit his job to take care of her full-time. This guy has had many struggles and even reveals how his dad tragically passed away when he was little.
When I was 4 years old, he got into an argument with a friend at a park, and he was murdered.
Tyray has had a lot of trauma in his life, and I can't imagine how he's been dealing with all of this major stress. But he does seem like a good person, and says that his mom has made sacrifices in her life for him and his siblings. So he has decided to pause his own life to look after his mom. So no, I can't help but feel for this guy. And while he doesn't have much of a social life, he says that he has met a woman online that makes him happy. Carmela is 27 years old and lives in Barbados.
She is this hot, thick, beautiful woman, this goddess.
And Tyray has been talking to her every day for 4 years.
She's extremely emotionally supportive, especially when my mom got sick, so she was there for me.
But this is when I started to wonder if Tyray was on the right show.
She's never video chatted me.
So they've only communicated on Snapchat and she doesn't want to video chat. Oh no. All of the red flags are already pointing to a catfish. But this show is not catfish. His overall goal is to meet Carmela in person and propose. The question is if this person is even real. But they are setting up this story like she is real. At least for the first part of the episode.
Before I go up to Barbados, I do want to tell my family about Carmela. They have to know how deep I'm in love with her.
But that all changes at the end. So we would all assume that TLC does their research and would only bring on this guy if she was real, right? They wouldn't send this guy on a dead-end trip like Caesar. He has a sick mom at home and no job, right? Right? Well, it seems like these producers actually have a soul, because at the end of the first episode, they approached Tyray with some new information about Carmela.
The person you've been messaging with is a man named Christian.
Wow.
He finds out that she really is a catfish, and this easily could have been the end of his story. The producers tell him that he has an option to discontinue filming and that they won't use the footage.
It's embarrassing,
But they do keep filming because Tyray seems to be in denial that Carmela isn't who she says she is.
I know about computers. I watched the show Catfish. I know, usually what to look for when you see a fake profile.
He thinks that because he only gives her $50 to $100 a month, that she wasn't scamming him. But he does say that she is always asking for more money.
I still have a glimmer of hope that maybe it was just someone else who had her phone or something.
He doesn't seem to believe that she is not real.
Maybe she was hacked. I don't know.
And the denial continues, even when he tells his siblings what's going on. And we learn that Tyray has actually tried to meet Carmela before in Barbados. He was there for 5 days a few years ago, and when she didn't show up, she blamed COVID.
Traveling 4,000 miles for someone and they don't show up, it was hurtful, especially leaving my mom.
So the producers had to know this before taking on the story, which makes me think that this is going to have some sort of surprise twist along the way. While with his siblings, Tyray listens to the voicemail that the real Carmela left him.
Hi, how are you? I'm good, thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much for answering.
And once he realizes that the man's voice isn't the producer's voice, he walks out.
Here, just...
Thank you.
You would think that that would be confirmation enough to end the denial. But a few days later, Tyray has processed what has happened, and he still wants to know who this person is.
There is someone behind these messages that I have a deep connection with. And I do think that it could be a big misunderstanding just because how deep the connection was.
What I can't figure out though, is this true denial, or is he trying to figure out if he is okay with this person being a man and not a woman? He hasn't really said one way or another. He had a hard time listening to the audio, but he has not given up on this. I'm also always trying to figure out the direction they're taking with the story. When Pastor Ben came on to Before the 90 Days, he was talking to someone we also thought was a catfish. And when he finally got to meet the person behind the photos, she ended up being a real person. But I kept thinking that the show just tracked down a woman that looked as close to the photos as possible. She seemed like just a hired, terrible actress.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I mean, none of the photos Ben got of Mahogany ever looked like the same person to me. So I was very surprised that Mahogany was in fact revealed to be real. So Before the 90 Days has done that outcome before, and they surprised us with a real person.
So relieved that Mahogany is a woman and beautiful.
So where are they going with this with Tyray? Would he meet this man and start a relationship? Will he meet the real woman in the photos? Tyray and his sister do try to reverse image search the photos.
Usually when you put somebody's picture in the search engine, all the social media that they have pops up.
But they don't find anything, and it seems to just give Tyray more hope.
Maybe her boyfriend found out about us talking and they wanted to end our relationship. Who knows?
Jasmine and Gino want to remind you to subscribe to the kiblz channel. If you don't, they will give you creepy baby talk.
Who's my little baby? Who's my little baby? Who's my little baby?
Me.
Even the text that the real Carmela sends doesn't break through his denial. All he seems to hear is that this person says that they love him. And I guess that's enough for him to keep filming.
Just a scammer, scamming people. That's the end of it.
We end this episode not knowing what Tyray is going to do next, but a preview of the season shows that he does figure out that Carmela's photos are on an escort site.
This is her, right?
Oh, man.
He is so upset that he throws his phone. But then we also see a preview of him getting on a plane to meet this person.
But what if they don't show up?
So what do you think is going on here? Will Tyray meet and fall in love with the person behind the photos? Will he get his happily ever after with a man or a woman? Will he actually meet the woman in the photos? Will he start the K1 visa process with someone by the end of the season? Or will he be heartbroken and cast on the single life? Let me know what you think. I think the show is going to try to make this a shocking twist ending that we aren't expecting. Do you? Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye!